Nebraska, we've got you covered. Whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium, get a free online quote at EustisBodyShop.com and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Have you ever gotten a car deal so good that you can brag about for decades? This is that deal. The government has given us a $4,000 instant credit on vehicles already at the historically lowest prices. Cars that were over $50,000 just 2 years ago are now selling below $20,000. See the deals here and drive away the car of your dreams at a price you never thought possible. Go to 4000off.com, 400off.com to learn more.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, maybe I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I am a huge guy.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Tuesday. This is the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert and Rico with you. What's up, Rico?
Hello.
How is the day?
Great so far.
It's pretty warm outside.
I have not been outside since this morning when I came.
It's very warm outside. Had the conversation yesterday about parking enforcement.
Yeah.
Down by the stadium.
Did you drive?
I did drive.
Did you get a ticket?
I did not.
Thank goodness.
Had to reevaluate where I wanted to park, though, because university parking had not 2, but 3 people working the same parking lot at the same time.
Ooh, they were getting people.
Not a car went missed.
Oh, no. That sucks.
So I reevaluated. I was in the parking lot, and I swirled around and went and parked along the street. But once again, you can tell class is back in session. Commuting students are back on campus because there's zero parking in downtown Lincoln. Zero parking in downtown Lincoln. As always, 402-464-5685. Honda Lincoln Hotline, the Starter Heyman text line are both open for you guys the entire show today, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Allo Channel 961. You can always reach out to myself or Rico on Twitter on at Nick_Sainert or at Radio Rico AC.
Say my name right.
Rico. Radio Rico AC on the Twitter sphere. We got a good couple of segments coming up. We definitely want to get to some of the things that Tony White said, some more stuff from Matt Rule from yesterday. Marcus Satterfield spoke to the media. So did Dylan Raiola earlier today. So plenty of reaction from those guys. I told Austin this to have this plan for the crossover, but I was looking at schedules of other Big Ten institutions and universities.
Okay.
While also looking at Nebraska's, okay, what are the expectations? Not necessarily the record. What's the prediction? Just what do you hope month by month, right? What do you hope is the narrative around Nebraska football in that time? And the narrative that I kind of continue to settle on was, let's hope that Nebraska is playing meaningful football games in November.
Is what Joel Klatt said.
That is what Joel Klatt said also, but meaningful football games in November as well.
Games that aren't just, so when you say meaningful, it's not
You're playing
just,
for something.
Yeah, but
Whether
careful
that's to boost your bowl potential.
Yeah, but I'm saying like it can't be, you have 5 wins and you're going into November and you have to win a game to get into a bowl game.
Because that's what happened last year.
Yeah, not that kind of meaningful. Meaningful as in you've already clinched that and that's settled, and now you're just trying to boost your own season. You're trying to get into a better bowl game. You're trying to, if all things hit right, trying to get into the conference championship game. You're trying to better yourself in terms of the college football playoff or sneak into the college football playoff. You're playing games at the end of the season that have a meaning, that aren't just, okay, let's become bowl eligible.
Well, and you mentioned Joel Klatt. There was a podcast that he released yesterday. I actually went back and listened to it. He compared Nebraska to Penn State this year.
Okay.
High on Nebraska.
Yep.
But I also, I didn't listen to his entire explanation on it, but I kind of formulated my own feeling about it. And ultimately, I somewhat agree in the fact of, you look at the schedules and they're built pretty similar between Penn State and Nebraska. And we'll get into that in the crossover. And then also there is, with the 12-team playoff, part of college football this year is we have no clue what it's going to look like, or what are the parameters, or we understood after year 1 or year 2 of the 4-team playoff. Okay, does this team actually have a chance to put enough stuff on their resume after a loss, right?
This is what you're going to have to do.
This year of college football is going to be so fascinating. I think it's going to be such a popular and hot commodity, simply because nobody knows anything about it. So nobody knows. Yes, there's ways that the committee makes decisions. There are parameters to what they prioritize over other details. But ultimately, until we get some sort of history and proof and actual substance that we can latch onto and then refer back to 3 years from now, it's this wide open speculation, curiosity. What's it going to look like? We don't know. Maybe a two-loss team has a chance to make it in.
Well, like right now, is Florida State done? Like, does Florida State have a chance to make the playoff?
Perfect example.
They lose their first game to Georgia Tech. Many people are, it's the fun thing to do. It's the first game of the season, and it's a top 10 team falling. Everybody's saying they're trash and they're not going to win anything and all of that stuff. Okay, if DJ Uiagalelei gets back on his P's and Q's and plays the way he did at Oregon State, Florida State can be right back in this thing. But have they done? Is one loss to a Georgia Tech team already enough for the committee to say, you know what, Florida State's on the outside looking in unless they win the ACC?
And more than likely, it's probably not. But I mean, we can also talk about the ripple down, the trickle down effect from that, though, is because the rest of the ACC right now is kind of sinking their teeth in to the idea that maybe Florida State's more gettable than we realized.
They're not the same Florida State from last year. They don't have Jordan Travis. They don't have Keon Coleman. They're a team that you can get to if the Georgia Tech blueprint that they laid out in this first game is true. If you can out-physical Florida State, you can beat them. And right now, as you were saying with the college football playoff and trying to find the parameters and what have you, we've all kind of been resigned to the fact that the Big Ten, the SEC are going to get 3 or 4 teams in. But what if that's not the case? What if the SEC and the Big Ten get their champion and their second place team, but the Big 12, the ACC have better years than is expected, and those teams rise up and they start knocking down or getting past the middle of the pack SEC and Big Ten teams? This is the first year of it. We don't know how it's all going to shake out. It could be that the Big Ten only gets 3 teams in and the SEC gets 5 teams.
More so, by the way, a quick note on Florida State. I saw this earlier today. Florida State under Mike Norvell has a combined record of 31-18 under Mike Norvell, which is fine. However, with Jordan Travis as a starter, they are 29-9. Without him, they are 2-9. I mean, so there's a dramatic difference, but that's my point. Is like the rest of the ACC is kind of sinking their teeth into it. Of like Boston College this week is sitting there going, we don't. Yes, they have to go to Florida State, and more than likely, Florida State's going to bounce back, and they're going to look like a potential top 10 team or potential playoff team. That's the most realistic possibility. However, if you're Boston College, or if you're sitting there in Clemson, or if you're sitting there and you're Georgia Tech, you're sitting there saying, hey, you know what? Maybe teams are a little more vulnerable than we realized. That could happen in the Big Ten, and you don't see it happening with Ohio State and Oregon, maybe. But let's play the Nebraska card here. If Wisconsin's vulnerable, and yes, there's no divisions, but it's if Wisconsin and Penn State are vulnerable, well, then Nebraska's instantly playing meaningful football games potentially in November. And whether that's to get 8, 9, 10, 11 wins, what you be the judge of that. You can decide that that's subjective.
Yeah.
And a lot rides on that game against Ohio State and Columbus. But what I'm getting at is if there are vulnerable teams in the Big Ten Conference and Nebraska takes care of business against for the most part, a fairly simple schedule, lighter schedule, then the narrative around Nebraska, with the help of teams in the Big Ten being a little more vulnerable, is dramatically different than what we'd expect. That's just the honest truth. Nebraska takes care of business. Penn State and their quarterback decision with Drew Aller struggles again for a second straight year. They don't really have James Franklin can't get over that hump that he has been struggling to since Trace McSorley and Saquon Barkley and Chris Godwin left. If they stay that, Wisconsin and Luke Fickell don't take a jump in year 2, USC and Lincoln Riley take a step back after Caleb Williams leaves, and they have a new defensive coordinator. Now, there's a lot of things outside of Nebraska's control that have to happen, but ultimately, then the things that are in Nebraska's control, these first 6, 7 games against gettable opponents, lesser than superstar opponents, yeah, if they take care of business, then we're having a different conversation going into Ohio State and potentially outside of Ohio State.
I mean, you look at another team in there that you didn't mention, Michigan, where they're going to be without their head coach for the first game. They're breaking in a new quarterback. They're not going to have their star running back. Yes, they do still have a star running back, but not their star, Blake Corum. There are many things that can go wrong there. Again, with Alex Orji starting at quarterback and having not thrown a pass in the collegiate game, despite being in college for a few years already. There are multiple teams in the Big Ten, and again, with Florida State faltering in their first game in the ACC, this new version of college football is going to be really interesting to see because of the enhancement of the enhancement of the transfer portal and NIL's shift to kind of taking over and bringing more talented players to other schools. The rich did get richer, yes, but the teams in the middle were able to potentially get some athletes that they weren't able to get before because of some of the benefits that they are granted now with NIL and with the transfer portal being open and having guys who decided that they were or who were good enough to go to other schools and then not getting the amount of playing time or the reps that they wanted, transferring not down per se, but you're going to a lesser Power 5 school than wherever they were at. It granted some of those teams to take another step up and maybe even the playing field a little bit. So this version of college football is going to be quite fun to watch if some of those teams do take those steps up, if some of those other teams end up taking steps back. I mean, again, you were just talking about USC, potentially taking a step back without Caleb Williams. Of course they're going to take a step back. He was the number 1 overall pick, right? Well, then you look at a team like Alabama. They have Kalen DeBoer, who's a proven winner, and they have a litany of weapons around their quarterback, but it's going to be a different offense. It's going to be a different defense. Could they take a step back? Potentially. Could they remain the same? I don't know. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun is what I'm trying to say.
Speaking of the transfer portal, Nebraska did add a tight end today. Former LSU tight end Mac Markway transfers to Nebraska. He's practicing with the team. However, not available, and this is what I would imagine, not available to play this year because he obviously transferred just 3 weeks ago. He entered the portal, and so what I'm getting at is because of transfer windows, transfer opportunities, he's not eligible from a collegiate eligibility standpoint. Not eligible to play right away unless there's some sort of waiver out there. But no, Nebraska gets LSU tight end, former LSU tight end Mac Markway to transfer, and he's already practicing with the team. His father told On3 and Steve Wiltfong that Nebraska is a program on the rise. It's a tight end heavy offense and has great fans, and that was a big reason why Mac Markway wanted to transfer to Nebraska. Marcus Satterfield also said earlier today that he arrived on campus on Sunday and just in time for classes to start, and here he is. So
how did you take Satterfield's answer to being asked about it? I have it right here.
Go ahead. Let's play it.
I found out about it yesterday. To be dead honest with you, since I found out he was here, I've researched him a little bit. He's a good player. Got a chance to do some things for us, as everything starts to take place. But just showed up at school, and here he is.
That is a concerning to me. I don't know if
concern. It just caught me by surprise of who brought him in.
We're gonna look into it. We're gonna look into this way too much. But if you're again co-offensive coordinator / tight ends coach, didn't know until yesterday that a tight end was joining his team.
He just looks in the room and he goes, "Oh, wait a minute.
Who are you? Who brought him in?
Yeah.
Who did the research and thought this is the right guy? Let's bring him in."
There you have it.
Slightly concerning,
potentially, but hey,
to me,
Mac Markway,
big physical guy. Did you watch I watched some of his high school tape.
Yes,
he's it reminded me of the Chancellor Brewington block on those goal line plays, just going across the line and knocking somebody's head off.
Okay, there you have it.
This is a big guy.
We do have more stuff to get to. Black shirts were handed out today. I know we're big on black shirts. People love the black shirts. We also have some thoughts from Tony White to certainly get into. He talked about UTEP's offense. They don't even know. UTEP specifically hasn't made a decision on what quarterback they're going to go with. They have two separate types of quarterbacks. Tony White kind of talked about that Scotty Walden, who is the youngest coach in college football this year, 34 years old, entering his first year with the UTEP Miners, mentioned that he has kind of he's leaning one way, but he wants to see how they operate this week of a game. Said that there's a possibility they could also play both guys on Saturday. Well, Nebraska fans might shy away from that just a little bit because that has not been such a good thing for Nebraska in years past, but you hope so that Saturday is a different story there. So we have plenty of stuff there to get to. We will just an outlook for the rest of the week. Wednesday, we'll be joined by Steve Mark of Inside Nebraska, rivals site for the Huskers ahead of Nebraska's first game. Then Thursday at 1:30, we're going to be joined by John Teicher, who is the play-by-play broadcaster for the UTEP Miners. We'll get some more information on UTEP from John Teicher himself. The voice of the UTEP Miners, been doing it for 45 years. Wow. So he has been fully surrounded by UTEP football for a lot of his life.
This is his first trip. Well, I can't say it's his first trip. It's his first trip as a play-by-play guy up to Nebraska, at least.
That's right. UTEP and Nebraska squaring off for the first time in the history of both programs on Saturday. So once again, Steve on Wednesday, John, the voice of UTEP football, on Thursday. Both of those will be at 1:30. So that's just kind of an outlook for the rest of the week. All right, let's step aside. When we come back, let's talk Tony White, Nebraska defense, and black shirts. We'll give our thoughts on a couple of those as 12 Huskers earned the black shirts. We'll tell you who they are coming up next on the Happy Hour.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
I can't believe I just scratched that car. Find my insurance card.
Dude, what do you have in this glove box? Ew, are these socks dirty?
Oh, forget about the socks. I need my insurance card.
Just pull it up on the State Farm mobile app.
But I can do that? Oh, hey, I can do that.
Yep, it's called service.
I can file a claim on here too?
Yeah, it's called service.
Whoa, I can call my agent too?
It's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
You already know that Select Plumbing takes care of all your plumbing needs, including water heaters, faucet repairs, leaks, drips, sump pumps, and more. Now, they're able to help you with your heating and air conditioning as well. Select Plumbing has recently expanded into residential heating and air, and they're excited to bring this new service to their complete list of plumbing services. Call to book an appointment today at 402-560-6197 or go to selectplumbinginc.com, serving Lincoln, Seward, Milford, and the surrounding areas.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see a slight chance of showers and storms throughout the day. Otherwise, partly sunny skies with a high around 90. Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms with a low around 69. And tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies return with an afternoon high around 93. I'm meteorologist Kyle Becker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Husker Nation, your women's basketball team is gearing up for another incredible season, and you can be right in the heart of the action. Get your season tickets today and guarantee your spot for another year of Husker dominance. Witness every key basket, every clutch steal, and celebrate every victory with the most dedicated fans in the nation. Don't wait. Head over to huskers.com/tickets and secure your seat for this unforgettable season. Go Big Red.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at eusticebodyshop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
A new school year is here with summer coming to an end, and it's time to get into proper shoes. Brown Shoe Fit is the place to buy this August with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular priced athletic shoe with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. Don't forget, Browns carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start the fall season off right with the August athletic shoe sale at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
September 17th, 1994 was the first what? Let me think for a second.
Game against UCLA, number 13 UCLA in town. College game day was here, but that's not what he's talking
I played in that game. I had a couple carries in that game. Give it to you? Please give it to me. September 17th, 1994 was the first year of the tunnel walk, and it has been going on for 3 decades later. I was there, but you don't. It was a blur. It was all a dream.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
You're listening to the Happy Hour.
We were in the middle of our tournament when my friend John said he found a body in the bushes over there.
With Nick Sainert.
I ran over there because I'm a healing monk to try and help, but obviously my magic wasn't strong enough because the dude's body was missing a head.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
So my friend decided to try and use a necromancer spell, which didn't work, which I knew it wouldn't.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
And apparently we contaminated the crime scene because that spell uses a lot of glitter.
Welcome back into the show. Happy Hour 93.7, The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick and Rico with you. 402-464-5685. The Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman Jewelers text line are both open for you guys the rest of the way here, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Allo Channel 961. You can always reach out to myself or Rico on the Twitter sphere at Nick_Sainert or at Radio Rico AC as well. Just some national college football news here real quick. Oklahoma running backs coach DeMarco Murray, yes, that DeMarco Murray, the former Dallas Cowboys running back, DeMarco Murray will be suspended for 1 game this season for recruiting violations per the NCAA. Throughout the span of 16 months, DeMarco Murray impermissibly contacted 17 recruits over that 16-month span. That included 65 impermissible phone calls and 36 impermissible texts. Oklahoma discovered it through a routine phone records review. Basically, I was reading this on actual NCAA.org because they had some violations occur in the football and track and field programs. So specifically with the football ones, though, DeMarco Murray indicated that he was not aware that a COVID-19 waiver of recruiting contact rules had expired. During the investigation, the enforcement staff at the University of Oklahoma determined that the school had properly educated football coaches on the applicable recruiting rules and the timing of changes to them. So sounds like it was just and was not intentional. It was not a Michigan situation. It was not a Tennessee and Jeremy Pruitt situation. This was just honest. DeMarco Murray did not realize or forgot or claims that he forgot that COVID-19 waiver of recruiting contact rules had expired. And so therefore not a self-imposed ban, but Oklahoma found it and reported it, I suppose. And DeMarco Murray, Oklahoma's running backs coach, is going to be suspended for 1 game this season.
Not a self-imposed ban, but they turned themselves in. Yeah. Could be innocent and could be that they didn't know, or it could be they turned themselves in and just said, hey, you need to act like you didn't know. We'll never know, but 1 game, it's not going to be the end of the world. DeMarco Murray, a lot of calls, a lot of texts in 16. I mean, it's recruiting, so there's a ton of them, but that's crazy.
Well, and people might forget. So today, the Netflix's Sign Stealer with Connor Stallions is released today.
Today?
It was released today.
They made that quick.
Yes. So you can. It's one of those Untold.
He's
series.
in it, right? He's the one. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's there. He's on it. It says so. Netflix. This is the write up on Netflix. It says so. Watch Untold Sign Stealer. It's the same group or company or idea that started the Johnny Manziel. The Johnny Manziel one. The Untold Manti Te'o documentary. That's this one. Untold Swamp Kings.
Okay. So this is going to be good.
It's that same series.
This is going to be good.
And so the write-up is a sign stealing controversy pushed football analyst Connor Stallions to resign from the University of Michigan. But did he actually break any rules? And so there's been a couple of.
Oh, wait a minute.
But so there's been a couple of these, and the one like meme that I saw earlier was was him holding up the picture. Now Connor Stallions has no facial hair currently.
Okay.
And he is completely bald.
Oh.
So anyway, here's the thing: is there's a picture that's surfacing on Twitter of Connor Stallions holding up like a picture of the guy standing on the Central Michigan sideline.
Mm-hmm.
And then the closed caption in the show where he goes, "I don't think this looks like anything like me." He's just like, "I don't think this looks like me at all. Looks like me at all." And so it's
look at
funny
me, look at this.
Because I throughout the initial reports, it's like we don't really learn anything. But that is why there was some news yesterday about the notice of allegations, just a little more deeper. Punishments had been sent down to Michigan because they knew that this documentary was going to come out and things could possibly be spilled.
How much are we going to learn from him that we didn't already know, that we, like, the general public didn't already know, or that like the NCAA or didn't know? And will he throw Harbaugh or Michigan under the bus?
I don't think he'll throw Michigan under the bus or Harbaugh. Because I also saw, and this is another little snippet I saw, not to give too much away. He was awarded a game ball from a game that Michigan played in 2022. And he talks about it in the documentary. He's like, yeah, I was awarded this game ball in 2022. Michigan and Jim Harbaugh was like, I didn't know Connor Stallions years ago.
Oh, that's crazy.
Somebody gave him the game ball.
Who's this guy?
Somebody did.
Yeah, it was quarterback.
Yeah.
That's
JJ McCarthy gave me this football. Anyway, 402-464-5685. Let's get to some of the things that Tony White said. The 12 black shirts were announced today. That's right, 12 of them for Nebraska's defense. Tony White did it at the similar time last season as well. And let's see. Here we go. One second. Let me get Tony White's. Tony White black shirts, as I wasn't unable to find the. Here we go. 12 black shirts. Ty Robinson, Nash Hutmaker, Jamari Butler, John Bullock, Mekhi Bear, MJ Sherman, Tommy Hill, Isaac Gifford, Malcolm Hartzog, Deshaun Singleton, Marquise Buford, and Cam Lenhart are your 12 Nebraska black shirts that were awarded today. Obviously, we saw some of it at times, and they talked about it last year, can always be taken away, can always be awarded to other players as well. So it is not an end-all, be-all type of thing. If I asked you, Rico, which name stuck out the most in terms of surprise or just overall curiosity, who would you say?
I mean, they're all the starters on the defensive side of the ball. So I guess Cam Lenhart would have been the one that stood out. The fact that he said 12 and that Cam was the 12th one to earn it, although he's not a starter. It didn't surprise me because of what he was able to do last year at the beginning of the season, how, I don't want to say like important he was, but how beneficial it was to have a true freshman who was able to step up and step in the way that he did right away and make the impact that he did make. Not surprising to me that he earned a black shirt, because from every account that you've heard about Cam Lenhart is that he's a extremely hard worker. So going from his freshman year to his sophomore year, you would assume that he would improve on some of the things that he was lacking in last year. So him getting a black shirt despite not being a starter, not surprising, but that would be the only surprising name. Because it's one of those things where
one of the younger guys.
Yeah, and it's
I mean,
one
that's
of those
also that part of it
where, you know, how were they going to hand it out? Were they just going to hand it out to starters? Were they going to hand it out to guys who they believe earned it? Although it seems as if they believe that the guys who they decided are starters earned the black shirts anyways. So I guess the only surprising thing is going to be who earns the next black shirt.
I think when you look at maybe Cam Lenhart specifically, you're surprised, or just kind of that's the one that sticks out to you just because he is one of the younger ones. But we had the conversation pretty in depth yesterday about there's not very many young guys that'll see significant playing time this year defensively, right? Like Riley Van Poppel is one of them. Cameron Lenhart is the other. Outside of that, there's
Prince Will,
Uman Mielen, certainly. But outside of that, everybody else is junior or seniors, right? We talked about it. 7 of the 11 starters on the 2 deep that was released yesterday on the depth chart for the game notes this week heading into UTEP. 7 of the 11 are seniors, right?
I mean, you do have the 2 true freshmen in Vincent Shavers and Amari Sanders, who are 2 on the second rank person on the 2 deep and at their respective positions. But I guess, so I want to ask you, remember Bly Hill at the beginning of the season, we believed that he was going to be the second corner opposite of Tommy Hill. He gets injured in the spring game, works his way back. The knee injury led to a hamstring injury, so he's still not 100%. If he was the starter, or if he was healthy, he's the starter, he earns the black shirt and not Buford. He earns potentially a single digit and not Buford, right?
Well,
or how would that have worked out?
I would imagine that Marquise is still where he's at. Like I think this staff does, and specifically Tony White does a good job of separating those two things and looking at them as individual pieces. Marquise Buford is identified and viewed as Marquise, and whatever he does is separate and not a byproduct of somebody getting hurt.
Okay.
I think that's it. I think Marquise, we forget how big Marquise Buford was for Nebraska before his injury. And how he was viewed going into the season last year. Like going into Nebraska's year last season, he was viewed as a big name, big type guy for Nebraska's secondary unfortunately gets hurt as he comes down on his knee wrong out of bounds. But then he came back towards the later part of the season last year and kind of filled right in. Tony White said it today. He's going to play corner. He's going to play safety. You're going to see Marquise Buford Jr. kind of moving around a little bit. So I think Marquise specifically as him, he's viewed as a separate type of guy, not a byproduct of Bly Hill. Sure, if Bly Hill is ready to go, and it sounds like he, fortunately enough for him, after his spring game injury, feels like he's going to be ready to go in the next couple of weeks, then yeah, you know what? Bly Hill, then that just boosts Nebraska's secondary as a whole. Another name in terms of true freshmen that we have heard from, Tony White just mentioned his name a couple of times today, Larry Tarver Jr. In addition to Amari Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those guys, 3-star prospects coming out of high school. Larry Tarver was a 4-star, depending on which site you looked at. Larry Tarver was one that was committed to Maryland for an extended period of time and then flipped to the Huskers on signing day after visiting Nebraska pretty late in the process and kind of ironed it down. But you kind of saw the writing on the wall that he was going to flip to Nebraska, but was committed to Maryland, to the Terps for an extended period of time. That's Larry Tarver Jr. So a couple of those freshmen there. But like we said, a lot of these guys on the defense, not surprising by the black shirts. That's probably why we don't need to really go too in depth on them. But ultimately was just something we definitely needed to point out before we head into our final segment. So
I'll say the best part is, or the most interesting part is going to be who earns the next black shirt.
I would absolutely agree. Or yeah, it's who earns the next one, who doesn't keep it, right? Like there's that piece of it too. We know the expectation and standard that this defense, specifically Tony White, is holding. So
yeah, how high do you think they get number of black shirts? Like, is there a limit to the amount of black shirts that they hand out, or is it going to be one of those where if somebody earns it, somebody lost it, or are they just going to keep going for guys that have good performances or are putting on clinics on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah.
That's going to be part of it.
That'll be part of it. 402-464-5685. The Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line are both open for you guys the entire show today. Some other news broke in not Division I and not football, but Nebraska Westland gets a new baseball coach earlier today. Jeff Christie, the former Husker assistant, Husker player. He was a member of that 2005 College World Series team for the Huskers. He's been tabbed as Nebraska Westland's newest head baseball coach, program that has not had a winning season since 2009. Big get for Nebraska Westland, the Prairie Wolves over there. Austin Strick and myself will be joined by Jeff Christie, the new head coach, at 2:30 later today. But for right now, let's go ahead and step aside. We'll come back, be joined by Austin Strick, and talk about Penn State, Nebraska. How are those two teams and programs similar going into this season? We'll do that as we get you ready for On the Block with those two coming up next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the happy hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Looking for a place to relax and unwind after a busy day? Cigars Lounge at 8th and Q in the Haymarket is the perfect place to enjoy good company, a cocktail, and of course a cigar. Visit Cigars Lounge on Tuesdays for Top Shelf Tuesday and enjoy 50% off select spirits. Cigars Lounge offers Perdomo, San Cristobal, Rock Patel, and more of the top stogie brands that you know and love. But that's not all. If you mention this ad between noon and 5 p.m., you'll receive 15% off your entire tab just by mentioning the ticket. Check out Cigars Lounge today at 8th and Q in the Haymarket.
Husker Nation, your women's basketball team is gearing up for another incredible season, and you can be right in the heart of the action. Get your season tickets today and guarantee your spot for another year of Husker dominance. Witness every key basket, every clutch steal, and celebrate every victory with the most dedicated fans in the nation. Don't wait. Head over to huskers.com/tickets and secure your seat for this unforgettable season. Go Big Red.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring your friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month. Hurry, this deal ends soon. See Home Club for details.
It's the fall sports season, and that means that the school year is back in session and you're planning road trips for Nebraska football games and following your kids around to their different events. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home so you don't have to worry about your current car struggling through another season. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Lake and find your next ride. As your fall schedule gets busy, you'll need a reliable way to get to your destinations. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of local union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Hello, Charlie Stone here, and joining me is Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I was noticing on your website you have more than 150 new 2024 and 2025 Hondas in stock right now.
Yes, we do, Charlie. It's neat when you drive by and see all the cars on our lot, and we have most all models and all different colors available, and we even have more than hundreds on the way. We also have the all-new, all-electric 2024 Honda Prologue in stock right now. We have a few of them to choose from. Plus, qualified buyers get financing from just 1.9% APR.
How about your pre-owned selection?
I talked to a lot of my customers and friends, and they still think that we just sell brand new Hondas, but we sell all different models, make of pre-owned cars, and we have more than 100 to choose from right now.
Well, maybe it's time you come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Looking for a place to relax and unwind after a busy day? Cigars Lounge at 8th and Q in the Haymarket is the perfect place to enjoy good company, a cocktail, and of course a cigar. Visit Cigars Lounge on Tuesdays for Top Shelf Tuesday and enjoy 50% off select spirits. Cigars Lounge offers Perdomo, San Cristobal, Rock Patel, and more of the top stogie brands that you know and love. But that's not all. If you mention this ad between noon and 5 p.m., you'll receive 15% off your entire tab just by mentioning the ticket. Check out Cigars Lounge today at 8th and Q in the Haymarket.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $25.60 per hour, which grows to $30.12 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $34.51 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacations for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful, with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Brought to you by General Fire and Safety, Raisin Canes, Perch Merch, Sunbelt Rentals, Mullen Motors, Select Plumbing, and the Kindler Hotel. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Early break. And then a week after retirement, he was flipping burgers in a what would you call that truck? A
food truck?
Food truck.
What kind of truck would that be with food in it? Words are hard. What is that? There's a truck. They show up. They show up at noon, and then they drive in, and it's a food. Oh, I can't put it together. I can't get this food truck.
Food truck.
Early break from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
I vomited last night.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
I literally vomited. I threw up.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Happy Hour. one final time on a Tuesday. Nick Sainert, Rico, Eric Strickland, Austin Orman with you. What's up, gentlemen?
It's just kind of weird having someone to my left. I kind of like being around, being able to see everyone. I actually have to turn my head now.
I know. I don't like it. Stricky didn't want to sit by
there's
me.
nothing about I love being close to my partner. I appreciate him, but
Nikki
I
doesn't like Stricky.
One way.
Stricky didn't want to sit by me.
Nikki doesn't like Stricky.
You guys want to see something cool? Hold on.
And I'm Petty Wop.
Let's see if I got this. Look at how far everybody is away from me. If you're on the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, like it's so far that you can't even see Strick on the camera. Like, hold on, wait a second. You guys will see it here in a second. And there it is. Look at that. You guys are so far away from me right now.
Stricky's not even on the camera.
Like, hi. Wave to the little camera. Like, hi, everybody. Just all my friends are over there. All right. Have fun, boys. I'll leave you guys on the camera. I'm not special.
No,
hi,
that's
everyone.
not true at all, Rico. Anyway, how's the day, gents?
It's going. We're rolling.
You got your ticket jersey on.
And I paid, so I don't get tickets.
Feed the meter.
Feed the meter, boy. When you come down, boy, make sure you feed the meter.
I know. I was tricky. I was telling them yesterday, university parking, it's $40 for a ticket. You get a ticket. It's a $40 ticket.
When I was in college,
a what?
Oh my,
a ticket.
When I was in college, it was a bad look.
Yeah.
I went to the Pound a few times.
Oh, okay.
Not Pound Town, but
stop.
Why?
Trick.
I went to the Pound to get my car.
Yes. Here.
It's just a step too far.
Yeah.
Every time.
Stricky, I was telling Rico at the start of the show, I went down for the press conferences today.
Yeah.
And university parking had not one, not two, but three parking enforcement officers working the same lot.
Getting them.
Oh,
there was not a car missed.
Oh, they were stinging them.
They're triple checking their work.
There was not a car missed.
I think they monitor all activities down there, and they're like,
yeah. Oh,
today's the day.
100%.
Our budget's going up.
School is back in session.
Oh man, the freshmen don't know yet.
It's parking time.
Yeah,
parking.
It's parking ticket time.
Mhm.
Ticket time. Anyway,
we might have found another name.
Dang.
We're working on some good stuff, man. Content for you guys. So, Nick, man, we just know that Stricky and we love you, man. You're a great.
I'm not leaving.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
I'm not leaving.
You're a great dude.
I appreciate that,
even
Stricky.
though I'm sitting over here today,
Yeah.
I still got love.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, Stricky.
I'm not Petty Wop all the time. I'm just Petty Wop today.
Okay, there you go. Anyway,
what is that?
Thunder on the text line says Nick is just in an absolutely awful mood today. I feel great today.
Nick, how dare you?
I'm okay today.
I don't know.
We had delicious lunch provided by our friends at Tipsy Tina's,
Right down the way.
8th and Q in the Haymarket. Shout out to them.
Quality as always.
Yeah, 100%. Little carnita action.
Love it.
It was delicious.
Big fan.
So appreciate the friends over at Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina.
It's hot as Hades outside.
Very, very.
I'm trying to convince them to bring us breakfast tacos.
Okay.
That's
How's that working? For
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
So far, it's
not working.
They said that they would think about it. That's all. That's it.
That's a very polite way to say it's not going to happen, but we don't want to crush Rico's dreams.
Yeah.
So we'll do it in a very quiet way by just never bringing them instead of straight up telling him no and crushing him in the moment, which might actually be better.
Don't get my hopes up.
Yeah, I mean,
in the words of Ron Swanson, I like telling them no. It dampens their enthusiasm.
Exactly.
Someone just tell Rico no.
One thing I'll say, Nikki, is during football season, we got a little taste of just hanging out front. You know, we got, a couple weeks we got in, maybe 3. We're going to actually get to do it in the beginning of the season when the weather is absolutely lovely. Because I got to admit, there were some cold days that we were out there on the radio.
We were.
But now it's going to be beautiful. It's
Tricky. Do you remember when we rode the pedal cab down to the stadium together?
We did. That was hot, bro. Yo, we hooked.
Okay.
Yo,
we rode the pedal cab down there.
Yeah, because we wanted to get there. We had to get there.
We needed to get there.
It was a little slow.
That was the Michigan game.
Yeah,
and then
it went south real quick. And we walked out real quick.
Yeah, we walked back.
Hey, you didn't need that pedal car. You could have got there at any time, and you wouldn't have missed a thing.
Yeah,
right from the start.
It was a good time though. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to be in the space on Saturday. UTEP's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to obviously the starting lineups, right? I'm intrigued by who they put out there at running back. Like, who do they announce as the starter? I mean, even Marcus Satterfield said today that you know what, I'd rather have 1 or 2 and not 4, but that's the kind of cards that they're dealt with right now. I think so much of that, you can put some of that accountability piece on EJ Barthel and on Marcus Satterfield, which I told Austin before the show, EJ Barthel might be the least talked about assistant on this staff. Like we just don't mention his name a whole lot.
Well, we talk about his room a lot, but we don't bring up hey, it's kind of his job to get these guys ready.
Exactly. And it's not. I mean, we don't. That's what I meant. And so he's one of the least talked about assistants, but has one of the biggest questions to answer this fall.
Yeah.
Maybe the biggest.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's one of them.
The biggest.
But here's the crazy thing about it is, to me, based on what we have in the running back room, different styles, different, ways in which they run. When you see a specific running back, I think you can kind of anticipate kind of the style of running game you're going to see.
Sure.
Right? That's why I'm saying it's an intriguing thing to not know. And maybe that's the same way in which they're trying to approach it. Instead of doing it in the quarterback room, maybe they're doing it in the running back room because it's a different style of run.
Well, I feel like you have those guys who they're different enough or they do all of the things that you need a running back to do well enough where it wouldn't automatically, if Dante Daddell gets in the game, you wouldn't automatically say, oh, it's a power run, or if Emmett Johnson's in the game, you just automatically assume, oh, it's a pass. Like they do all of those things well enough where they'd be able to cover for that. And yeah, you're right. We don't talk about EJ Barthel enough and the job that he needs to do in that running back room, because just as we talked about Matt Rule sounding a little perturbed with the running back question and having 4 or 3 oars next to all 4 of his running backs. It was kind of the same with Satterfield when he was saying, I'd rather not have 4. I'd rather have 2. You should have heard Austin in the room when he said that. Austin was hyped when he said that.
I was.
But
true.
Instead of having 4, just having 2 running backs throughout the season and having those other guys as depth pieces. It does sound like the head coach and the offensive coordinator both want that running back room sorted out at some point sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things. I mean, biggest question, I think running back is the spot.
In terms of position groups, yeah, I mean, there are lots of big questions, right? Is Nebraska able to go 2 for 2 on transfer receivers? Is the defense as good, if not better than last year? Is it complacent? Is quarterback improved? Left tackle, I think, is a question right now as well. So I think on the offense, it's running back and left tackle, and on the defense, it's secondary depth. Who else gets hurt and who steps up?
How much better has Corcoran got? That's what I really. That's the question for me. Like I've seen some whiffs, and I've seen some goods and some bads, and is he more steady this year? I mean, so yeah, those are questions there I'd have too.
Yeah, there's a lot to get to over the course of the next couple of days. I definitely want to get to. We're going to get out of here pretty quickly here because I know you guys got a loaded show coming up throughout the next 2 hours or so. I'll be hanging out for one of the segments later in the show. But I wanted to get to, I mean, so just to remind people the salaries for a couple of the assistant coaches, since we did bring up EJ Barthel, he's at $285,000, same as Garrett McGuire, same as Rob Dvoracek as well. Well, let's see. You have Donovan Raiola is in the last year of his deal, so there's that piece of it too. Donovan Raiola in the last year at $500,000 for him. Special teams coordinator Ed Foley is making $550,000. Glenn Thomas is making $800,000. Marcus Satterfield's at 1.4, and D coordinator Tony White is at 1.6. So I mean, some steeper values there. But like not necessarily at the bottom, but on the lower end of it all, at $285,000, it's Barthel, McGuire, and Dvoracek, 3 of the younger guys on that coaching staff.
If Dvoracek does a good job and the linebackers are ready to go this year, I think he gets a pay bump because he was on that CBS 30 under 30 list earlier in the offseason. I think that he's a guy that Matt Rule is trying to prepare to be a defensive coordinator someday. But the other 2 guys are why you can afford to pay like a John Butler, what you're paying him, a Tony White, what you're paying him. It's just like, a football roster, right? You pay guys at the top a lot, the guys at the little, obviously less, and then you make it work in the middle from there.
My question is with McGuire, are you going to get bang for your buck? Because at the position, what if they go nuts? Is he going to require a little bump? I think he's still young enough to You can probably to me the best example I would give it is like an NFL rookie contract, where you can maximize. If you can maximize the position, you've got a few years there to where you can build that. If you can show me you can build it, it's like a show and prove type of thing. If you can show me you can build it, then boom, we'll bump you up after you complete your.
Of course,
you know what I mean. That's what it looks like to me.
I mean, but then it's also what is the baseline? Like what is that mark that he has to achieve or his room has to achieve for him to qualify for that, right?
Yeah.
Is it 1,000-yard receiver or is it somebody with 430 catches? Like, or what is that? Because Nebraska's wide receiver room, specifically sticking to that room, with that, there's a lot of potential there, but there's a lot of bodies, and there's a lot of guys that I think could share passes, right? Specifically Jamal Banks and Isaiah Nayor. I think those are the two main guys in that room.
I don't think this is going to happen, but let's just play a hypothetical here. Ohio State goes 9-3. Ryan Day's gone.
Done.
Brian Hartline didn't play for Nebraska? Could they pay him enough? Is he an NFL guy after Ohio State?
I think Brian Hartline is Ohio State's next guy.
But see, I was looking that up too, and the reason I bring that up is because associate head coach Larry Johnson, assistant head coach Tim Walton, Jim Knowles, Chip Kelly. I agree with you. It feels like Hartline should be the next guy up, but he doesn't even have that title. He's co-OC and wide receivers coach. I don't know if he's a guy that is built to be a head coach, just because we haven't seen, right? Maybe he could be, but I wonder if he's one of those guys that's just going to be a widely respected receivers coach and maybe get a couple cracks at OC in his career, but he's just going to hone in on wide receivers.
I view him a lot, and this is a name for, Husker fans, I suppose. I view him as the Dante Williams. I also view him as and this might be a little more of a niche name, Tosh Lapoy from Alabama. Then he went to Oregon. Then he spent some time with the Cleveland Browns. Just a very, very dialed in recruiter. And then just a good position coach, fine position coach.
Yeah.
Brian Hartline obviously has the pedigree to be a good position coach because of his playing career. But ultimately, man, Hartline on the recruiting trail is next to none.
And that's why I don't think Nebraska would get him. But would he be in play potentially?
Some guys just aren't built to be head coaches. Not saying that he's not,
or don't want to be, right? Like,
but he's done so well at where he's at.
Well, he could be in that part of I don't necessarily. I can get the pay bump without the title, and I don't have to worry about dealing with the head coach responsibilities eventually.
Right. I just think about if Ryan Day gets fired in season, which again I don't think is going to happen. I think Ohio State's really good. Would Ohio State risk losing him by elevating him to interim over the other guys and then going out and getting someone else, or would they say, "Hey, wait your turn. We're going to give these guys, they have the titles. They've been here longer than you. We'll give them interim, but." You're the guy we want.
Like who is Ohio State's next guy?
I don't know.
I didn't realize they had so many guys on that staff with potential head coach like aspirations or pass.
But my thing is like, okay, so like the Larry Johnsons of the world or Chip Kellys, like, do you really feel good about promoting those guys at Ohio State?
Jim Knowles, same way.
That's my thing. So do you really feel good about that, or are we going to have that conversation of? As stupid as the conversation is in general about Ryan Day and how he's on the hot seat, it feels like they need like a Dan Lanning type. Like they need a splash, an established guy.
My question I want to throw in
Leipold?
Leipold? No,
really.
I want to throw this in
Not
here.
a chance.
No, and I love Lance.
I don't think Leipold either.
Number one, I don't think Lance would take it.
Whittingham too old? Or is he in the wheelhouse?
No. Too old.
Bridge guy?
Who?
Whittingham, bridge guy?
No. There's got to be somebody out there that's got the youth and the pedigree.
Like, here's a question: are you able to take is Elko the guy? Like, is that who it is?
I would take Leipold over Elko.
I would too, but Elko has the Texas A&M piece of it with Ross Bjork.
Would he leave?
That's where my point is. I think Leipold does really, really good at the under the radar type of programs. Kansas is not now an under the radar type of program.
Well, it would be Leipold's jump from Washington to Alabama, or like DeBoer did. I know that's what I'm saying. If Leipold went from Kansas to Ohio State,
Lincoln Riley.
Marcus Freeman.
No.
I mean,
no.
Somebody just texted that in.
No. Lincoln Riley?
Marcus Freeman, here's what I'll say.
Riley's going to be an OC the rest of his life.
Yeah, he's like Cliff Kingsbury. Just, actually name
They
brand.
just haven't figured it out yet.
Name brand Cliff Kingsbury. Not great value.
Wait, Mike McCarthy.
No. I would say this about Marcus Freeman real quick. First of all, I think Notre Dame beats Texas A&M this weekend.
Agreed.
I think they beat them.
Hey, well, put it on Strick's picks.
I will. I'm dead serious. I think Notre Dame beats them, and I think they cover. Notre Dame's actually the underdog going in right now.
Ooh,
yeah. So there's that piece of it. But then Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman will never leave Notre Dame. He will never leave Notre Dame.
Never ever.
Just because he converted?
There's that.
Yeah.
No. That man, he won't leave Notre Dame. Okay. Maybe unless it's for $20 million a year. Like if they get to that point of contracts.
They will.
Jeremy Lincoln throws out the lane train.
There you go. But that's what I'm saying. You're going to need somebody established in a power conference, mostly the Big Ten or SEC. The whole conversation is so stupid. The guy is like 62-4. 62-3 in his career, and his 3 losses are the same team.
Ironically enough, 62-3 was the 2017 college game day score.
That is correct.
2016.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. Anyway, 402-464-5685. What's coming up on the show today, gents?
We will hear from the coordinators here in the first segment. You and I will talk to Coach Christie, Jeff Christie, new Nebraska Wesleyan head baseball coach. Excited for that conversation coming up in 20 minutes. We'll play the shootout. I don't think Stricky's ready for this one. It's going to be a good one, but maybe we need to tap in, see if you can get Nick to stick around for shootout. Then Stricky and I looking at the depth chart yesterday. We wanted to talk a lot about the receivers, the way that shook out, and then the defensive back room and the depth.
All right, there you have it. All that and more coming up on the block with Strick and Austin. Make sure you stick around. I will talk to you guys at 2:30 with Austin and Strick as we talk to Jeff Christie. Rico and I on the happy hour. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya.
Adios.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
It's hard to choose a favorite at Hog Wild, but I'd have to say it's their award-winning ribs. Hog Wild buys their meat from those who share their high-quality standards, then hand rubs each slab with their famous seasoning blend and slow smokes them over hickory each and every day for flavor and tenderness you're gonna keep coming back for. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
You've seen them come and go. Franchise testosterone